What's up, guys? It's Justin Marc, international dating coach and relationship expert. And guys, in this video, I want to give you guys some awesome Tinder date ideas. Now, guys, I have spent months creating an awesome course called Online Seduction. You can check it out at this link right here, first link in the description. It'll change your life. Game changer, completely takes you from the front into the back end, teaches you everything you'd ever need to know. But even if you don't want to buy the course, you can go to the website, onlineseduction.com, opt into our free email list where we're going to give you a ton of free content. We're actually going to give you an opener that has a 92% success rate. Now, guys, I've been getting this question a lot recently, like, where do you take a girl for a date? Well, there's a million different places you can take a girl for a date, right? You can go to the movies, you can go out to dinner, and all these are horrible fucking ideas. You know, these random articles online or magazines or whatever the fuck that teach dating advice, they usually are pretty bad, and they're not thinking of your goal in mind. Well, obviously, you know, if you're meeting a girl from Tinder, most often you and the girl, or any dating app, okay, Bumble, Hinge, etc., quite often, most often, more often than not, the girl wants to actually hook up with you. You want to hook up with the girl. So the best date idea you can have is something around your logistical situation, right? So let's say, I'll give you an example. When I travel, I always get a city center apartment, always in the middle of the city, right in the middle, okay? And the reason for this is because why would I want to, you know, save money and go out into the middle of nowhere and then I don't have a good location, I can't go out to see a scenic location, scenic views, cool bars, clubs, etc. Whereas I can get a place right in the middle of the city and girls can come to me. More often than not, there'll be a bunch of bars on my street. So there'll be a bar around that corner, and around that corner, right? And so what I can do is I can actually meet a girl at any one of these cafes, restaurants, coffee shops, bars, and I'll always make sure I've got a bottle of wine in the fridge or some tequila on the table. And so that way, if I'm like, hey, we really get along, why don't you come back to my place for a drink, right? And if we're getting along, she'll obviously say yes. And that's when the magic happens. So the best date ideas is number one, something that is in your general vicinity from where your apartment is, but you want your location, your logistics, your apartment to be in a central location, somewhere close to downtown, close to bars, close to clubs, close to whatever, right? So that way you can actually go on something that is a good date. Now, it's really important that you don't do these classical type dates where you go out for dinner or go to the movies until the girl's your girlfriend or the girl you're actually seeing, because that's a horrible first date, okay? So this is not just about what to do on a first date, it's what to not do on a first date. You don't want to go to the movies because you're not going to get a chance to get to know the person. You don't want to go to dinner because you're eating your food and, you know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of I find eating is a very intimate experience. You know what I mean? I don't just eat around anybody. And so when you're eating around a girl you're just meeting and she's trying to impress you, you guys are going to be feeling kind of awkward eating in front of each other. Okay, I notice this happens all the time when, you know, I have girls over and I, you know, invite them sushi or whatever. You know, I get some Uber Eats and stuff. They kind of awkward about it, right? So really, grabbing a coffee, grabbing a beer, grabbing some wine, right, is a way better date idea than going out to dinner or going to the movies. And then you always want to make sure again that, you know, it's near your place. So that way also, you're not traveling too far from your place. You want it to literally be across the street. You want to like grab a coffee at the coffee shop across the street. Because imagine you spend an hour getting ready as a man, right? You're spending an hour getting ready, you go out to meet the girl, you go out to like 30 minutes in the middle of nowhere, and the girl's like, oh wait, I can't meet you, or I can't come. And you're like, I just spent all this time trying to meet a girl who can't even meet me, right? That's horrible. It's a horrible thing you don't want to experience, right? And so you want them to kind of come to you, so the ball's in your court, you kind of have the frame, and even if they cancel it, well, cool, I'm, you know, in my apartment, let's just do whatever I was gonna do today anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you always want to have backup options as well. You always want to have backup options of women who would be able to meet you. You always want to have backup options of things you're doing that day. So that way, if a girl does flake you, cancel you last minute, right, it's not a big deal at all. It's 0% a big deal. And often what I'll do is I'll have like maybe 10 different girls who want to meet me that day. So if a girl were to cancel, no problem. I've got another girl who wants to meet me in an hour. Awesome. Hope this makes sense. Now guys, this stuff is pretty raw, pretty real, and I can't really talk about it on a YouTube video. So I highly recommend you go to onlineseduction.com, check out the course. it is a life changer. We're gonna teach you how to do this in such an intense, incredible way. We're literally like, my buddy Brad, he had 8 dates at the same time. 8 dates at the same time, okay? And we're gonna show you ways to never get flaked again, never get stood up on a date, and always make sure every single date you go on is incredibly, incredibly successful, if you know what I'm saying. So guys, my name is Justin Marc, international dating coach and relationship expert. Guys, go to onlineinstruction.com right now, check out the course. We'll see you guys there. But yeah, when it comes down to it, I highly recommend you do dates that are simple, okay? Because sometimes less is more. You don't want your date to cost a lot of money. You don't want to be spending $100 on a first date with some girl you don't even know, you're not even being intimate with, she's not your girlfriend, because it's gonna drain your bank account. And think about it, if you're going on a lot of dates, you're just gonna be spending a lot of money. So your first date also should usually be very cost-free for the most part, right? So it could be a bar around the corner that serves cheap drinks, it could be coffee, it could be something relatively affordable, right? And it should be affordable, and it should be affordable for your bank account. The best piece of advice is, I would say, you never want a date in general, a date or a first date, to ever cost more than what you're spending on lunch. So that's my kind of go-to rule, is I would never, it depends on how long I'm with the girl, right? So if I'm spending like, a couple hours with the girl, let's say, that's like my lunch period or whatever, I wouldn't want my date time or cost to be that different of what I'm, doing for lunch anyway. I hope that makes sense. So let's say I'm meeting a girl for drinks, right? And she wants me to spend a lot of money on her. I'm not going to do that, you know what I'm saying? If I spent 12 hours with her, it might make sense that, I invite her lunch or dinner or something like that and drinks, right? But ideally, you never want to be spending $100 on like a first date. I'll usually cap it at like $20 maximum for a first date, you know what I mean? Unless I really, really like the girl and I'm spending a lot of time with her, okay? So my go-to rule of thumb is that you are not spending more on that date than you would on like dinner for yourself that night, right? That way, the girl's not using you for money, she's not gold digging you or whatever, right? But then also, you're not being a cheap ass and you're actually, making it so you can actually build a connection, doing something cool, doing something fun, and you have a bit of budget to play with for that date experience. So that's a pretty good rule of thumb. And you always want to make sure it's something where you can actually be social and get intimate with her. So you want it to be a place where you're like sitting down. So usually drinks, a bar, or coffee is your ideal date situation. That's usually the best thing you do for a first date. And then, when you're doing a second, third date, it could just be a Netflix at your place, right? Netflix and chill, and then or Uber Eats, because you want it to be cost effective, but you also want it to be logistically viable for you and your situation and for what you're going for, obviously, right? So guys, Justin Marc, international dating coach, relationship expert. We're gonna end the video here, and I highly recommend you go to onlineinstruction.com. Even if you don't want to buy the online instruction course, we have a free email list. We're gonna email you a ton of free content. We spent tons of time working on this stuff, and the emails are awesome. That alone will change your dating game. And the online instruction course will change your entire life. So see you guys there. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram at DrunkJustin. Message me right now, DrunkJustin on Instagram. And I'll see you guys in the next video, and I'll see you guys very soon. To be honest, we have been, we've been super overwhelmed with the amount of people who have messaged us to enroll in the online mentor program. I probably had like 400 people message me. If you're still interested in changing your life forever, message me right now saying I'm in about the online mentor program. Okay. All right. Yeah. See. Chris, I have a question. Are you and Carla like dating or what? Is it your girlfriend?
At this point, I'd say we're friends.
Oh. But what about last night when I was sleeping next to you guys and you guys were like humping and stuff? Chris, is this your girlfriend, Chris? Chris, is this your girlfriend?
Actually, it's my wife.
This one? She's your wife? Chris, how come you sitting so close to her, Chris? You're too close. What's up, guys? We are just out here with Chris, filming a street interview. And we're also out here with the girls. We've got her, and we've also got, say hola.
Hola.
Here with my man Justin. He needs some advice.